Hello, my name is Victoria. If you haven't been here, welcome back to another women's health video. I love learning about the woman's body and am very passionate about sharing everything I learn with my girlies, which is why I started this channel. And today we're going to be talking about your follicular phase, also known as your spring. Before we jump in, like the last video, I want to give credit where it's due. So most of what I'm talking about is from these two books. This is Period Power by Maisie Hill, and this is In the Flow by Alisa Vitti. So I highly recommend checking either of these books out if you want to go deeper into this stuff that I'm talking about. The follicular phase starts right after your period ends, and remember that your hormones are at their lowest level during your period. So around day 3 of your cycle or day 3 of your period, you will see estrogen levels start to slowly rise, and estrogen will gain momentum, increasing until ovulation. So the period between time between your period and ovulation, estrogen is going to be dominant over progesterone, and estrogen is responsible for a couple different things. One of those things is the thickening of your uterine lining so that it's getting ready for a fertilized egg to implant. Estrogen is typically thought of as the feminine hormone. It is responsible for clearing your skin up, so if you see your skin start to look a little bit better as you near ovulation, that's because of estrogen. It also actually enhances your facial symmetry, so you become more attractive as you get closer to ovulation, which is just a cute trick that nature plays in order to get us impregnated. And lastly, estrogen can lift your energy and your self-esteem. Another thing that you might notice happening is that your cervix will start to rise as you near ovulation, and your cervical fluid will start to increase. Testosterone is also going to slowly start to rise here. It won't peak until ovulation. Testosterone is also behind that kind of boost of energy and the motivation that you're going to start to see as you enter your spring. Spring characteristics that you might see: you can think of spring as your season of possibility. You'll likely start to feel lighthearted and playful. You might feel more creative and motivated. You'll probably feel energetic and social, especially versus the time when you're on your period. Me, at least, I really am not social at all when I'm on my period, but during your spring, you might get more social. You might be feeling more confident during your follicular phase, especially if your skin is clearing up. And this is a big one. Spring is bursting with new ideas. Just as spring is bursting with seasonal growth and warmer weather, you're going to be bursting with new ideas. So I want to talk about spring's superpowers. You should think of your spring as a great time for potential. The increasing levels of estrogen is kind of your body's way of saying, hey, it's time to get back out into the world, especially after your winter. If you rested well during your winter, which go back and watch the video on your winter, aka your period. If you rested well, then spring becomes a great time to build and expand. Energy is saved up during your winter, and then you can burst into spring with all of this energy. Your energy is going to be expanding, as well as your self-esteem and your stamina. You should allow yourself to take up more space by expanding your social network or creating new habits. Your spring is a great time to create new habits because they're more likely to stick than trying new habits at any other point in your cycle, which is pretty cool. And then estrogen will also have you feeling curious and wanting to explore. You'll probably be feeling the urge to take a different path or try something new that you haven't before. This is a really good time to try a new exercise, like maybe a cardio dance class or kickboxing class or a fast-paced Pilates class, something that gets your heart rate pumping, because between your period and ovulation is when you want to be doing those kind of HIIT workouts and get your blood pumping. And just allow yourself the freedom to try different things and different ways of thinking or different avenues without committing to something yet, because you don't have to commit to anything. Your spring is meant for you to be playful and curious and explore. Don't tie yourself down by thinking that you have to commit to something too soon. And the last superpower is that you're going to be feeling playful. So as your hormones are increasing and your energy is expanding, you're going to want to move your body more. That can mean exercising more. It can mean going on walks if you're working in an office. Go on more walks throughout the day, or try to get outside and walk around your building, or maybe if there's a path where you work. And you can also be more playful with your ideas. So allow your ideas to stew and be playful with them before moving on to a concrete solution. Next, I'm going to talk about spring's dangers. One danger is exposing yourself too soon, which sounds kind of silly, but it basically means running out of your winter too soon, because you're going to be feeling all of this newfound confidence and energy. But if you expose yourself to the world too soon, especially with new ideas that you haven't quite backed up yet or thought through yet, it can be quite detrimental to your little self, your thought process, your confidence, if you're not quite ready for feedback or criticism. Maisie Hill actually writes this in the chapter. She says, "Keep your ideas in a greenhouse and let them proliferate alongside the lining of your womb." That's so cute. So this is your spring. So we're relating everything that's happening in your body to, what this season of spring feels like. So if your ideas are just little saplings, they might not be ready yet to go out into the real world. She's using the metaphor of a greenhouse. So it's okay to keep your ideas to yourself and just kind of play with them for a little bit. Another danger can be succumbing to pressure. And that might be the pressure of feeling like you need to sprint out of the gates right after your period, especially if you did take a little time to rest during your winter. You might feel this pressure to be super productive right off the bat. And that's kind of where you want your playful nature to come in, because you can be productive in a way that you're brainstorming new ideas. So you can get your idea board up or your Pinterest board up and start brainstorming all of these new ideas and use that as your productive time, rather than feeling like you have to pin yourself down and type away or get a bunch of tasks done. You can use this as kind of like a brainstorming time. Another danger might be if you are feeling tired, then you probably need to check your behavior throughout the rest of your cycle. Spring should leave you with a lot of new energy, and if it's not, then you might be expending too much energy during your winter. And it's probably a good idea to start nourishing your body with strengthening, nutrient-rich foods. And then the last spring danger is distraction. So this is kind of wild, but it's true. As estrogen is increasing, it's going to start nudging you to get into the world and start looking for a potential mate. This is just how our biology works, and although there's nothing inherently wrong with that, of course, if you are in a season of life where you're trying to buckle down and get loads of work done or really nail down ideas that you have, then just keep that kind of in the back of your head. Although socializing and getting out and having fun is a good thing, if you are prone to, procrastination or getting too distracted, just keep that in mind. By the end of your follicular phase, so right before you're gonna start ovulating, you're hopefully gonna have played around with a couple ideas, whether it be, and I'm talking, whether this be at work or at home, or maybe a new career path, something big picture or something small picture. What color do you want to paint the walls, or what kind of new exercises do you want to get into? You're gonna hopefully have played around with a couple ideas, but by the end of your spring, you're gonna want to buckle down with one or two of those ideas, so that when you get into your really productive ovulation season, you won't be too distracted by all of the different ideas that you've had, and you'll really lock into one or two of them. I want to leave you with some tips to get the most out of your spring. Definitely do not be afraid to explore new paths. So this could be day to day, like a task that you've just set for yourself, or a new project that you're starting up, or it can be big picture like career changes or maybe further education. You are also going to be the most open to new ways of thinking during your spring, so it's a great time to explore different ideas, perspectives, and ways of working. Next is to build healthy routines. New habits are most easily formed during your spring, like I said earlier, so this is a great time to implement those healthy changes that you've been thinking about doing for who knows how long. You can try to go for walks in the morning, try to drink more water, put your phone down an hour before bed, things like these. Those small changes that will slowly increase your overall quality of life. And this is something that I really just believe. I think it's so much easier adding in healthy habits rather than removing the unhealthy habits. So even if it, just comes to food, I think it's better and easier to add, say, leafy greens to your meal rather than removing the store-bought cookies after your meal. I just think it's easier mentally to be adding nutrition rather than trying to remove things that you think are unhealthy. Because if we were all trying to do that, honestly, living in today's world, we would be removing way too much out of our lives if we were trying to get rid of every toxin, every chemical, every processed food. And honestly, it's just overwhelming. So trying to add in those healthy lifestyle changes is going to be less overwhelming, especially if you're just getting started with it. Something else you can incorporate as as a new healthy routine, especially if the uptick of estrogen makes you feel really distracted, or if you struggle with something like ADHD, then implementing grounding exercises can help a lot. So these are things like meditation, slow walks, yoga, or breathing exercises. These grounding techniques can just help to rein in all of that energy you have so that you can expend it in a more thoughtful and productive way. Another tip is to go high intensity with your workout. So focus on anaerobic exercises or high intensity exercises that get your heart pumping. This can be weightlifting, kickboxing, cardio dance, swimming, cycling. Anything that gets you excited to exercise and also gets your heart pumping is going to be really good during this phase. Definitely don't be afraid to try a new class that you haven't tried before. I actually personally just got ClassPass, and I've been having a lot of fun trying a bunch of different classes to not only switch up my routine, but make it easier for me to do those anaerobic exercises between my period and ovulation, and then the more low intensity, slower exercises after ovulation and before my period. Your body during your follicular phase will also have a better oxygen uptake. You'll probably find it a little bit easier to do these high intensity workouts, and recovery time will be reduced, and you'll have increased pain and endurance tolerance. I think another helpful tip might be to capture any new ideas that you have, whether you carry around like a cute little journal or you just have a note on your phone to capture any new ideas that are coming to you, because like I said, this is a season of plenty of new ideas and you don't want to miss out or forget any of them. So just jot down those sparks of inspiration, and then at the end of your spring, choose one or two of those ideas that you've written down to kind of pull into your summer phase. And lastly, this is a great time to be planning social events. So you have more energy, your confidence is increased, you're gonna want to hang out with people, so get it on your calendar to be planning social events during your spring and summer phases. So that's all I have for this spring video. Overall, your follicular phase is full of energy, creativity, and potential. Just remember to ease into it gently and protect your ideas while they're still growing. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss the next video in this cycle series. Next, I'm going to be talking about your ovulation or your summer season, which, let's all be honest, is the best. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!